Hello folks, how you doing? Back again. I thought I'd talk more about symbols because symbols are very important when it comes to understanding ancient scriptures. Once you get a grasp, a hold, an understanding of the symbols, you can understand just about all the scriptures. You see. Like they say, a picture is worth more than 1,000 words. Well, the same thing goes for symbols because you can picture the symbol in your mind. Your imagery would take care of that. So we'll go back again to the double cross. No, I don't mean the double cross as somebody's treating somebody wrong and tricking them or something like that. I'm not talking about that kind of double cross. I'm talking about the double cross. So we see in the picture of the king, the deceased king, Tutankhamun. Okay? Well, he has his arms crossed, and then atop his crossed arms there is two scepters that he has crossed. So that's a double cross. The two arms, and then the two scepters that he's holding in his hand. These constitute the double cross. It constitutes a death and resurrection. It constitutes breathing. It's about breathing. Okay? We take a breath through our left nostril, and it goes down. This is equivalent to the death. Okay? But there must be a death in order for there to be a resurrection. Right? So then, we see that the sun rises up as we inhale. We inhale, this is the death, and when we exhale, this is the soul of God rising up. This is the resurrection, the exhale, exhaling. Okay. And the spiritual exercise, and breathing exercises. Okay. So we see here what the double cross means. Okay. Death and resurrection. It's a transformation. Well, this is also symbolic of a transformation because the individual who's engaged in such exercises is transforming himself. You see, from the earthbound life to the heavenly bound life. You see. So now we also see in the Kemite tradition, the ancient Egyptians, we see the winged disc. That is the sun between two wings. Okay? This is a symbol of the sun that has risen above the horizon. You see. And this occurs as a result of exhalation, exhaling. This is the goal, the sun above the horizon, i.e., it has reached heaven. So during these exercises, the symbol called the Tebhut, it can be used. You can set this as our goal. The sun risen above the horizon. You use your imagery with these breathing exercises. And here we use the symbols upon which we place our imagination. We see the symbol. So you see the sun rising up the right side as you exhale. As the person does this exhalation, you see the sun rising up. Okay. So this is done repeatedly in it during exercises because you continue to breathe in and out, etc. Okay, so this is called the Tebhut, or Tebhut, you see. Teb tells us that the sun has reached its point, you see. It may even be viewed as a point of return. But anyway, the sun is up there. It has risen up, and this is what the symbology indicates. The sun above the horizon. So whenever you see the solar symbol with the sun between two wings, that's what it means. And it has to do with breathing. The wing on the left has to do with the in-breath, inhalation. The wing on the right has to do with exhalation, the out-breath. They are both used in the exercise to make this attainment, this transformation. We also see that was a Kemite, that's in the Kemite tradition, the mythology. But we also see the relationship here between the symbolism in the Christian mythology. We see a similarity with the Kemite mythology. They're both raising the sun within. So we also see Jesus riding a donkey. They call it the ass. It's another name for donkey, right? So we see Jesus riding in town on the donkey. Well, the donkey happens to be a solar associated with the sun. And sometimes they say the donkey or the ass is a solar god. Okay? But this also indicates the sun hauling the donkey, the ass, hauling the sun, S-U-N, up from the underworld. You see? So it's the same as when we're dealing with, talking about the double cross. One is resurrection. So this would be the resurrection. When the sun rises up above the horizon. So, okay, the donkey or the ass pulls the sun, pulling the sun up from the underworld. So this is what that symbolizes. Jesus riding into town on the back of the ass. Okay? So we can see that we can see the similarities here, you know, but between two religions. But the scriptures are all the same. The symbols may throw a person off. But once you get a grasp of the symbols, you'll get a pretty good understanding of what the scripture is saying. Okay? The scriptures are about life. The scriptures are about telling people how to live life. You see? Understanding their physiology. And understanding that a person can have an effect on his physiology. That is, he can change his physiology with his breathing. Stop breathing, well, it's all over. So breathing, keep breathing, well, it means you continue to live. So yeah, breathing has an effect on the whole organism, you see. And so when we see these symbols, we and understand them. We can get an understanding, like I said, of the scriptures. Okay? So now, Jesus, for example, dies, but he doesn't resurrect until after 3 days, you see. And this is when he rises from the tomb. He rises from the underworld. He's in a cave. The underworld, okay? So he rises from the underworld after 3 days. So this 3 days symbolizes something. Why 3 days? Well, it so happens that when the sun in the sky crosses the celestial equator, which is a projection of the equator here on Earth, we project it into the sky. That's where the sun is at. Okay? So when the sun crosses over the celestial equator, okay, or at the equinox, it takes about 3 days before it is noticeable that the sun has moved on. It takes 3 days for folks to notice that the sun has crossed and moved on. And so Jesus resurrects as the Christ after 3 days, because Jesus, or the Christ, is a sun god that has resurrected. The sun has come up from the underworld, okay, above the horizon, and that's the resurrection. And that's the resurrection of Jesus Christ. See? But this happens along with breathing, all along. We can't leave the breathing out, because the breathing is really the main portion of the exercise. These symbols and these stories and these legends and the mythologies, okay, are actually telling folks how to live life, how to raise themselves up from the underworld to above the horizon, how to transform themselves from the lower realm, the animal nature, to transform themselves from, to get away, to get from under the control of the animal nature, and to come up into the heavenly nature, here we say in the brain, where we enlighten ourselves, you see. From the progress that we have made, we see advance, progress, enlightenment. I'm doing the exercises. It calls more for just sitting down praying. You have to work for it. It takes certain exercises, you see. And the symbols tell us of these exercises. All of them. This is what it's about. Understanding the symbols open doors for people, especially people who are trying to make spiritual advancement and progress. The symbols open doors for them. Okay, thank you, folks, and I hope you found a little interest in this symbolism. And I'll talk about it from time to time. I'll mention the symbolism, etc., what it means, as we move on to other aspects of the mythology. Thank you, folks. Subscribe. Yeah, subscribe, and I have a lot more to talk about. And I'm sure you'll be interested in at least some of the things I have to say. Hopefully everything. Subscribe, though, and have a good one. Have a good day. Thank you, and bye.